Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we had a very productive meeting of the research ministers today. We still have a month to go and a lot to do before the end of the Latvian presidency, but already today I am pleased to announce that we have completed the presidency's ambitious program of priorities in the field of research and innovation. I want to thank the Commission and especially Commissioner Moedas for the very valuable and tireless support in achieving our objectives. The foundation of a modern and innovative economic system in Europe requires the development of the European research area and the European digital agenda. Innovation must foster prosperity and serve the EU citizens. Therefore, today we adopted 3 sets of Council conclusions. The first 2 were on the development on European research area, ERA in short, and the third set of conclusions was on the role of research and innovation in the new digital agenda for Europe. We also had a stimulating discussion on how to move forward with the agenda on open and excellent European science. We may recall that the ERA process started already in mid-70s. Now the foundation of the ERA is in place and member states need to mobilize their efforts to make the ERA fully operational. This must be done by implementing the ERA roadmap, building on the existing ERA priorities while maintaining a forward-looking approach. The European Research Area and Innovation Committee, or so-called ERAC, adopted the ERA roadmap in Riga in April. The ERA roadmap covers the period from 2015 to 2020 and concentrates on a limited number of top action priorities. Today, the Council endorsed the roadmap and we now start a new phase in the development of the ERA. Member states now have to implement these top action priorities in their national plans and strategies, and I hope visible progress will be made. The second set of Council conclusions stresses that successful implementation of the ERA requires a more efficient and more effective advisory structure. The Council concluded that ERA advisory structure should be reviewed and streamlined. The conclusions address the chairmanship of ERAC, stressing the need for partnership of equals between Member States and the Commission, in order to ensure that ERAC plays a proactive role in developing research innovation policy in the EU. This work must be finalized by the end of this year. And now I would like to switch to the digital agenda for Europe. Already in March, research ministers started to elaborate how open, data-intensive and networked research could serve as a driver for faster and wider innovation. In the meantime, the Commission has unveiled its digital single market strategy for Europe. In the conclusions adopted today, the Council reaffirmed a broad political support from Member States for better framework conditions for data-driven innovation and stressed the need to take into account the research perspective. In this context, ministers welcomed the growing support for open access to publicly funded research publications and underlying data, and noted that openness of research data could further increase the efficient use of public funding. The Council also acknowledged the importance of data for businesses and new business models, development of new ideas and innovative startups. The ministers strongly emphasized the need to improve the digital skills base in Europe. They also highlighted the technical needs for data-driven innovations and noted that open standards and open source software solutions play a very important role for research purposes. In this context, the ministers noted the need to promote innovation driven by text and data mining, where we see a need to consider copyright issues, particularly the impact of the reuse of already legally accessible content. The Council urges the Member States, the Commission and industry to acknowledge the need to increase investment in ICT research and stimulate the leveraging effect of this investment. I believe that these Council conclusions will provide a timely and useful guidance to setting priorities for further work on digital single market. And also we had a very interesting debate on open and excellent European science. While there was a general support to the idea of European open science agendas, and ministers noted the need to explore in more depth the impact of such policy changes on European competitiveness-related infrastructure requirements and development of a new concept of science metrics in the global context. And ministers mentioned possible actions to foster open science, and we also discussed how stakeholders can be best engaged in the open science process. Thank you very much for the attention, and I will be happy to answer your questions afterwards.